presents the Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg, and your Colonial Champion, Sean McCoy. Welcome to the Court-Martail Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Court-Martail Podcast, episode 199, as we have got WrestleMania 42 to review. But we are not doing it alone. I am your Colonial Champion, Sean McCarty, here to bring you all of the action from night one here on this podcast, and then episode 200, which is going to be a back-to-back, a 1-2 lethal blow, a yay boo, if you will. That's going to come right after this podcast, but let me introduce my partners in crime. First, the man to my left. He is the man of the hour. He is the man with the power. He is too sweet to be sour. He is the Bay Area Brawler, the fattest of cats. Not talking about his weight, but talking about how heavy his wallets are nowadays. The Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg. And yes, this is like the fourth podcast in a row where I have mentioned your monetary acquisitions. How you doing, buddy?
The funny part for the people who don't know is that I started a new job, but I haven't been paid yet. Oh, the sweet pain.
That's right. Well, you know what? We'll know. You'll know because we'll never see Skylar again. As soon as that check lands, that'll be the end of the Bay Area Brawler. He'll be off to bigger and better
when that check hits, I'm going to the island.
That's right. The Samoan Islands, probably.
Not that island. Love Island.
No, I was talking about maybe the Samoan Islands where the World Heavyweight Champion lives. But let's get there later. Let's first talk to the man to my right, who has been recording for an obscenely long time, not just in longevity of years, but also in longevity of minutes. He is the man of the minute, but don't you forget that he's in it to win it all the time. JoshAgeddon, introduce your show on your own show.
Hi.
Welcome to the Totally Awesome Podcast. The podcast where JoshAgeddon is choking so much it makes him tap out.
Okay, for the CMP listeners, you didn't get the interlude at the beginning of the show where I was like, yeah, I'm eating food right now. My mom made some greens, and oh my God, they're so spicy. I nearly died.
Wait, hold on. You're choking on a vegetable, Joshua? God, how white are you?
I don't do spicy stuff.
What's wrong with vegetables?
I got too much privilege to deal with spicy stuff.
Word?
Welcome to the Totally Awesome Podcast. Not almost 10 minutes into this recording. How are you guys?
Yeah, indeed. And usually I'm the one who's choking and coughing early on in the podcast, but this is a surprising change of pace.
Speaking of that, are you thinking very highly of my performance thus far?
I hope it doesn't go. Fuck it. We got plenty of time for jokes. They'll come later. As I was gonna make another joke, but it just didn't. In any case, we've got WrestleMania Night 1. Speaking of jokes, WrestleMania Night 1. I cannot express to you the frustration that I wield in my entire body for this show. This show took me so long to find. This show took me so long to watch. And this show refused to cooperate with me because I wanted to catch it outside. How about that? But that was too much to ask. To not pay $30 to the greedy goblins, to the money goblins that own Green Guts Bank of WWE. But I am now at this point, WrestleMania Night 1. Let's start there as we're going to cover everything over the course of the night that we're recording this. But let's start with Night 1. Your overall impressions, JoshAgeddon.
I'm going to try not to choke on greens anymore.
I'm sorry, I deferred to you for a second time while you're mid-chewing. So that's partially on me.
I love ASMR. I love tormenting the people in the audience that hate the sound of food. But anyway, so I thought that Night 1 was fine. This night was particularly harshly criticized on the internet. Apparently, everyone but me hated it. I thought it was fine. It was by far and away not the superior of the two nights, and it had plenty of issues, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Skylar?
Sean, I have a question. You told me that we're reviewing WrestleMania, but we just watched an episode of Monday Night Raw, so, like, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I'm not really that surprised that you make that kind of statement, Skylar, because in some ways, it very much felt like that. We will get to what each one of us skipped as far as it turns out, even though I said that we all had the ability to skip more than one thing, we all just skipped just one thing, which is kind of funny. But we will get to all of that. But
hold on. Make no bones about it to the people that are listening to this podcast. Me, Sean, and Joshua, even though we didn't skip all the matches, we sped through them as quickly as possible. We spark notes this bitch. Because honestly, WWE has sucked for the last couple of years, and this show was kind of like everything that's right and wrong about the company.
To build on that point, the three of us watched this show basically the only way you should watch WWE nowadays. Pirate it after the fact. So you don't have to sit through 85 gajillion, and I mean gazillion, advertisements.
Unless you're me, in which case I was at the mercy no matter what, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I pirated this bitch, and I can imagine, the main complaint that people had with night one was not enough wrestle, too much ad. I can kind of agree with the not enough wrestle, but I watched what I watched basically cut out all the ads. So my viewing experience, while not perfect for night one, was enjoyable. It was preferable to watching it live, which even like Raw, because I have Netflix, I don't watch Raw live. I tried it once, and the second that it said ad 1 of 7, I was like,
"Oh hell
this is
no.
why Yarg. This is why Yarg.
Yeah,
Yarg forever and always Yarg."
Yeah, that's.
But
really...
you understand, like, the frustration of the people, Joshua, that pay for the Netflix subscription, the Peacock subscription, ESPN. They're paying so much money now to stream just to be able to watch these shows. It's reminding me of the NFL in terms of how many things you have to subscribe to in order to watch all the action, and it's just not worth it.
I don't feel sorry for the people that are dumb enough to pay that kind of money for a product that is not worth that kind of money. Like, save your in this economy, save your money.
And the ultimate irony is that Pat McAfee was saying that night one was the night worth watching, and yet he kind of single-handedly brought the value of night one down. And to be fair, it's not entirely his fault that night one to me sucked. It was partially not WWE's fault at all that night one to me sucked, because it was very difficult to find, because they were they were firing cannonballs at the pirate ship for a long time, and I could not find good versions. It got to the point where I got to halfway through Stephanie and Liv, and I could not watch the rest because I got 12 unskippable ads, and then the screen froze. And I said, fuck it. I wasn't planning on watching the main event anyway, and I didn't care enough about Stephanie and Liv to watch the ending. I got to basically where Stephanie did the Oblivion to Liv, and that's where it cut out, and I said, fuck it, that's good enough. And that's where I ended things. But we got a ways to go to get there. John Cena shows up. Do you have anything to say about anything John Cena did? Suit Per Cena was there. And
no. You misunderstand. It's Vince McMahon Jr. Like, he looks so much like Vince now. It's scary.
Well, I'd rather him do it than Vince do it. So, and they're probably going to use those John Cena Welcome to WrestleMania sound bites forever.
Yeah, until he starts diddling the kids.
Well, hey, do we know John Cena's confirmed as a kiddler? So we start with the Usos and LA Knight versus The Vision and I Show Speed. And what did you all think of this matchup to start things off? Skylar.
The Usos on the show in the exact perfect place, opening it and doing nothing else.
Amen to that.
Yeah, it was, I really debated skipping this match, but I said fine because I'm not going to watch something later. As I mentioned on the preview, I'm not watching the main event, and I didn't. I said, fine, I'll watch this. I'm sitting at the airport. I might as well kill some time. But they come in, and I must admit, I did watch all of WrestleMania Night 1 on 1.5 speed. I've been telling y'all that this is part of my thing, and I'm doing it, and it was worth doing it. I'm not going to say it wasn't worth doing it, but I must say the eating is much funnier in 1.5 speed than it is in 1 and regular speed. But it's still annoying. As it's just, but I must admit, gentlemen, I'm shocked to say the LA Knight pop is still strong, and I don't know how.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I don't know how either.
It's because the people feel bad for him. They want him to do well, and they're going to cheer for him because they genuinely like the dude. They just know he's in a shitty situation.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone get a sympathy pop.
I mean, it gets a pop every time. As this might have been one of the biggest pops on the whole night was LA Knight coming out in his big truck. That what is it with him and just vehicles? He's like, I'm the vehicle man. Yeah. I
mean, when you're in a vehicle, you can put on really nice, girthy turn signals.
I will say this, at least...
I mean, here's the thing, Sean. Wouldn't you want to drive out in a really cool truck with your name on it to 50,000 people cheering your name? Like, that changes the man.
Nah, I'd prefer to use a short bus ridden by a dinosaur.
Okay, as long as it's not a Cybertruck.
No, it would not be a Cybertruck. It would be a short bus with a dinosaur. That is a thing that actually happened.
There are so many Cybertrucks in South Carolina. You two would not believe the amount of Cybertrucks I pass on a regular basis.
That's quite
And they're all
upsetting.
shitty drivers. They're all bad drivers, and they're all really bad at turn signaling and driving. Fuck you, Elon Musk.
I don't know how to take whenever I pass one, because I feel like I'm watching a PS1 cutscene pass me.
You reveal a lot about yourself if you drive a Cybertruck. That's all I'm going to say. You are a specific type of person.
It's the same kind of revealing as it is for those guys that get, like, testicles on their truck. Like, you're telling me a lot about you.
Or the Jeeps with the 6 billion rubber duckies in them.
I see a lot of those.
Oh my God. When did this start? Why? Why is this a thing? Where is all those rubber duckies going to go when those Jeeps are impounded? I
miss when the noise I heard. I miss when the noise that I'm hearing now wasn't a turn signal, it was horses galloping.
This was, well, speaking of LA Knights, who is riding gallantly down the aisle to fight the Vision, and I show speed.
Okay.
What the fuck was this Brady Bunch picture-in-picture?
First major thing that annoyed me, during the Vision's entrance, they did this, they cut the screen in half to where you had like 2 different vantage points of the Vision, and then they're like, you want to see something cool, kids? We now have 4 different camera points of view.
Dude.
That's not cool enough. Here's 12 and one of them's not working. But here's 11.
Excruciating. It was nauseating. I couldn't keep track of any of them.
And they kept it on there for 30 seconds, and I was like, can we get back to one view, please? That one in the corner is still not working. It's still a blank screen. And the longer it goes without them fixing it, the more I'm laughing. But please stop this. Lee Fitting, this is a terrible idea. You were horrible at your job on this night. You were better on night 2, but night 1 was not a good night for Lee Fitting. And I hated this.
There were a lot of, remember my original nickname for Lee Fitting?
Mm-hmm.
Dungarees. Because he was, he's all about the jeans. As now I am fully aware that there is a lot more Kevin Dunnisms that are slowly taking root in the brain of Lee Fitting of late. And it's sad to see, because there were a lot of camera cuts here. There was just a lot of shades of earlier days, let's just put it. And a lot of that Lee Fitting has done better production than this. But it seems like every part of WWE had a failing somewhere at some point. Yeah. And we'll get to that later on. But no, I agree. That picture-in-picture was just weird. And I did not like it at all.
Like, if they just did it for like a couple seconds and then went back to normal view, it would have been fine. But they just held it for way too long.
Yeah.
And the longer that it went on, it stayed like that, the angrier I got. Except for when I was laughing at and then finally, when the one that wasn't working finally turned on, I was like, aha! So it wasn't working, because I was kind of like, did y'all do that on purpose? Oh no, you're just all bad at your job.
Yep, that's basically what it is. And speaking of bad at their job, well, no, I can't say the Usos are bad at their jobs in a match like this. This is exactly like you both said. This is exactly what the Usos should be used for. I
was pleasantly surprised to see that the Usos were not really the ones doing the backslap tags in this match.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising to me as well. I was pleasantly surprised. This did not suck.
It was the other team that was really doing the backslap tags.
Yeah.
Well, is it even really a team at this point? Because this is a group of people that are they have no identity beyond, like, oh, we occasionally work together and stuff.
Well, and seeing how Paul Heyman has basically wiped his hands of it, which is also very revealing. You know.
Yeah, the Vision has replaced... What was the stable last year that Joshua really hated? I can't remember.
There's several.
I know. It just replaces, like, the other bad stables. Like, again, there's a reason why the Judgment Day won, because at least they feel like a unit. They have an identity. I mean, Division hasn't had a chance because they've been injured the fuck. But, God, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, I feel bad for both of these guys. They should be in better spots than what they are now.
I will say that there was a spot near the beginning of this match that I just thought was hilarious. And I messaged Sean. I was like, there's a spot involving a headlock that I think you're really going to like because it made me laugh. So they start out, we immediately get super kicks. Lovely, great. But they did it to where IShowSpeed was alone in the ring, which I thought was funny. And then he's doing all these flips and cool stuff. And then LA Knight's like, yeah, but at a point you're going to have to fight me. So IShowSpeed puts LA Knight in a headlock. And while IShowSpeed is pretty toned and athletic, he's not a big boy. So LA Knight just stands up and IShowSpeed has this headlock in on LA Knight. And he's just dangling with his feet kicking and he's like, but I have you in a headlock. And LA Knight just has his hands on his hips like I'm literally holding a child without using my arm.
That was pretty funny.
That just tickled me. It was so funny.
Yeah, that definitely was probably the funniest thing that I got out of this. I just thought that it was funny that the match started with double super kicks. And I was like, yeah, this is basically exactly why I was gonna skip it. Was that? But thankfully, it was pleasantly surprising. Like, entirely. You know, there was actually halfway decent tag rules for the most part. You know, they keep calling. And now, answer me this, gentlemen. Does Logan Paul have a titanium screw in his hand or a titanium plate in his hand?
It's a screw.
It's a screw. That's what I thought. But Michael Cole gaslit me on this night because I was like, is it a plate? No. Lex Luger had the plate in his forearm, and Michael Cole is just senile. That's what I thought. Thank you for making sure that I was right in saying that Michael Cole was incorrect in saying that it was a titanium plate.
Not only did Lee Fitting have a bad night, Michael Cole had a bad night as well. He was fine on night 2.
Okay, Josh, again, let me ask you a better question. When has Michael Cole had a good night recently?
When has Michael Cole had a good night? Other than WrestleMania 40
WrestleMania
40. When has Michael Cole had a good night? Other than that one time.
Steve Austin, 1999.
Yeah,
sure.
Again, we've gone from please retire Michael Cole to retire Michael Cole to retire bitch Michael Cole to I'm grabbing the gun from the snipers at Saudi and taking care of business. And Sean and Joshua, I was thinking about this because the last time we talked about Michael Cole, it's like, who do you have to replace him? Like Joe Tessitore? I'm like, anybody.
No.
Anybody.
No Tessitore. I will not accept Joe
I also
Tessitore.
vote no as far as Joe Tessitore is concerned because Michael Cole just gets everything wrong. It's like someone's like feeding him like a torrent of misinformation. Joe Tessitore has no soul. He has no person. He's just like, it's like every match he calls, it's like he's calling like a golf tournament.
Dude, I feel bad. Like, he must have been just stone-faced when his kids were born. And what a beautiful day for my new child. My newborn child.
How did he conceive children?
Right
like
in
just,
front of
yeah,
me.
Right there, honey.
Oh,
right
yes.
there, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sure
I
you
do
like
not need
that.
Joe Tessitore's sex sounds, please.
Oh, yes. Fuck yes. Right there, just like that, Daddy.
I need a
God
cigarette.
damn it. God damn it.
Well,
I'm already tapping out. We're not even 15 minutes into the podcast. I'm tapping out.
no, it's nothing worse than like Joe Tessitore and a clone of himself, both doing it at the same time. Dear God. Anyway,
In both ears of
so-
Skyler.
ISO Speed hits Knight into Logan Paul. Austin Theory gets hot at ISO Speed. Makes a headlock. Knight Speed emotes, and then there's a counter. And then the BFT to Austin Theory, and LA Knight actually pinned somebody at WrestleMania. Say it ain't so, boys.
There were a few things on both nights that just shocked me. I was convinced that ISO Speed was pinning LA
too.
Knight. That was
Me
my
too.
prediction.
I was ready
But
for
I'm
it.
glad I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah, this ended up being kind of harmless, all things considered. You know, because
it was a perfectly serviceable opener, and then they had the afters where Logan Paul's like, you cost me WrestleMania, I'm mad, and then the baby faces are like, well, we can beat up Logan Paul some more. We don't really care about ISO Speed that much, but I guarantee you he'll jump off the top rope through a table. He's very dumb. He literally jumps onto and on top of things and injures himself on live streams constantly. That's kind of why he's popular. So let's have him do it again. And then ISO Speed did a pretty spectacular frog splash to the announce table on Logan Paul.
And there was yeeting everywhere. Although, I must say, my first big, like, guffaw laugh of the show happened right during this, right before ISO Speed was getting Logan Paul's table spot. Logan Paul comes into the ring or is thrown into the ring, and the Usos deliver the worst looking 1D of all time. It was, Logan Paul was a foot above both guys, both Usos, and then it was nobody saved him. I felt bad for Logan Paul. They just threw him up in the air, and then both landed before he did. I was like,
how do Bully Ray and Devon?
Damn.
How do Bully Ray and Devon sleep at night, knowing that they blessed these two idiots with their tag team move?
God.
Joshua, the answer is they got paid a bunch of money.
Integrity. Damn it.
Joshua, at the end of the day, everybody's got to eat, even Bully Ray.
If I created a cool move and then some goober after I retired was like, hey, can I use that? And I'm like, sure, kid. And then he proceeded to screw it up every time he tried it. I'd blow a gasket.
I doth revoke your rights to use mine move.
Yes, immediately.
Yes. You shall be banished to not using my movedom.
Also, whoever, like, whenever they're like, the Usos are the greatest tag team of all time, stop. You're lying to me.
Yeah, it's the New Day.
Stop. You're lying to me. Stop. I don't hate Jimmy Uso, but I hate the Usos as a unit, and we all know how I feel about Jay. They're so sloppy and just, you know, the thing that's opposite of bad. They're the opposite of good that's known as bad.
But ISO Speed got a moment, and yay internets. Hooray for them internets was basically the moral of that story.
Pretty much, yeah.
As now we move on as we take off, and please make sure you locate the emergency exits on the front, the middle, and the back sides of the plane. As we now head into our unsanctioned matchup between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. What did you think about this match, JoshAgeddon?
I thought it was good, but Seth Rollins and Gunther had the better unsanctioned match of the night.
Which wasn't really an unsanctioned match?
It felt more like the beginning of Seth and Gunther felt way more like an unsanctioned street fight than Drew and Fatu did.
Well, that's certainly true.
But also, when Drew came out with his giant ass sword, I was having severe flashbacks to, you know, very end of the line, you know, senile Vince era.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question, boys. If it's an unsanctioned match in WWE, while I stroke out, while WWE is not claiming any liability for what happens, so no injuries, they're claiming no, you know, that's the whole premise of the unsanctioned match, and a motherfucker brings a sword, I'm expecting somebody to lose a fucking limb. I'm sorry, there's too many expectations when you say there's an unsanctioned match and a motherfucker brings in a sword. The only way you can satisfy the people is by winning via decapitation. You're setting the standard way too high.
Okay, Sean.
For an unsanctioned match.
First things first. When Drew McIntyre wrestled Baron Corbin, Bishop Dyer, a couple of WrestleManias ago, he brought the sword with him and he didn't use it on anybody. So your expectations already should be he's not going to use it.
That wasn't an unsanctioned match, though. That was just a watch Drew McIntyre kick out of the End of Days match and then cut the ropes in half because reasons.
Yeah, actually, speaking
and secondly, like, come on, it's Jacob Fatu. For all we know, he could eat the sword.
Yeah, if they really, really wanted to make me pop, Drew would have hit Jacob in the back with the sword, and the sword would have shattered.
Jacob Fatu is the best big man in the business right now. I don't want to hear anybody else say otherwise. Look at this giant-ass Samoan monster. He's so fucking cool.
Yes, he is.
He is.
Even if the entrance was a little bit, you know, racist with all the flame dancers and shit.
I actually liked that. That was one of the few entrances that I actually thought was kind of neat. As he came
I was just like, okay, is somebody about to be set on fire? I mean, goddamn.
He should have brought one of those torches. Drew had a sword.
Yeah, because he counteract the sword. Bro, this would have been so much better if Drew was trying to whack him with a sword and Jacob's like, well, I have fire.
And you know what? All of a sudden, the D&D campaign that involved wrestlers that I pitched on the previous podcast is right within reach of actually happening at WrestleMania. But in any case...
I question Jacob Fatu, like, okay, this is an unsanctioned match. There's a big, giant Scotsman walking towards me with a sword. I'm going to jump on him. No, you are not. I'm like, he has a sword. There's a good chance I might be impaled in midair.
But here's the thing: is that like Jacob Fatu is a convict. He's used to shankings.
That
is a fair point.
True.
That is a fair point.
Well, but you know what? I will say, Jacob Fatu, he was smart. He brought Drew's Achilles heel. And what have I been saying for years, gentlemen? That wrestlers don't like basic tools. And now we know that Drew McIntyre's Achilles heel is the toolbox.
Yes, like he has.
Wait, hold on.
From it.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. Drew McIntyre can use a fucking Claymore sword, but he can't use a basic toolbox.
That's right. Correct.
Well,
WWE logic.
Well, he's never, lost gallons of blood from a sword, but he has lost gallons of blood from a toolbox before.
Well, we don't
Shades
know
of CM
that Drew
Punk and Drew
McIntyre.
McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell.
We're not necessarily positive that Drew McIntyre has not lost blood from a sword before. You know, Scotland is a very interesting place.
We haven't seen it on TV.
Correct. But in any case,
We'll see it on Unreal.
that's very possible. But in any case, I like Drew's Twitter spot where he hit the phone on Jacob Fatu. That was nice, keeping that tradition alive. Then there's chairs every fucking where.
Mm-hmm.
The jumping Glasgow kiss stopped a chair swing, which was cool. Drew McIntyre has been making a gimmick out of kicking out of protected finishers at WrestleMania because Cole's tried to sell it as like nobody's kicked out of that moonsault, which, is that true?
Probably not.
Then I seem to think that that's not true. But
I can't
Maybe on like an MLW show, but in WWE, no one's kicked out of it.
Well, Drew McIntyre is making a gimmick out of kicking out of people's finishers. So, good for Drew. As he's, then wrench happens, and it's hard to bring out a wrench and not get juice. It's just, that makes it kind of hard to have an unsanctioned match in general and not have juice.
What, Sean, you don't like having an unsanctioned match with no blood but Slim Jim logos on the tables?
Well, I mean, no, but when you frame it that way, no, but I mean, ultimately, what else are you going to do given the main event that you've got planned?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and you know that juice was planned, so it's like, it just puts the both of them in a hard, Drew and Jacob in a hard position. You know, I don't know. But in any case, we get the referee's belt. Jacob Fatu has chairs. Jacob Fatu belt uses the belt. There's a Claymore 2 count. There's Drew McIntyre pushes Fatu through the table on the outside from the top turnbuckle, and the crowd went mid as fuck. This is like the deadest unsanctioned match. It seemed like the night one crowd in Vegas just didn't give a fuck. Did you guys get that vibe on the night, like that they just did not care about the proceedings?
I thought that the crowd on night one was fine. Like, way better than last year. I thought that overall the crowd was better than they were last year. Like, last year, they were quiet for so much stuff on both nights. I thought they were better, but not, like, crazy on night one. I thought they were much better on night two. But but
here's the thing, though, is that, like, we're not complimenting this crowd. I have been on the record saying that the WWE crowds have been bad recently, and this continues that trend. I mean, I don't know what the live experience is like. Maybe I could ask a friend who did go. But from everything that I was seeing, it's a lot of people. It's hard to see the ring. You have to look at expensive-ass tickets to even go to these things. You have to mortgage a house in order to do this. Like, God damn it.
Also, for night one at least, the not as big reaction to everything, night two was the stronger card.
Right, but even if we ignore like the difference between the cards, you got two of the biggest, baddest guys in the company beating each other up, and the crowd is doing nothing.
Well, I mean, it's an unsanctioned match. It's also a street fight. It's also an Extreme Rules match. It's also a no holds barred match. It's also a no.
Those are all the same thing, right?
That's my point. My point is they've seen this kind of match in WWE, and it's to the point where it's carbon cut. Like, we had another one the night following, which I did not know that Balor and Dom was also a street fight. Although that was, in my opinion, better than this one. But still, I can kind of understand and look past the crowd not caring all that much for this match, because WWE no DQ matches, for me, are starting to bleed together.
It also does not help that they have been dicking around Drew McIntyre so much these past few months. It's hard to care about him.
Yeah. I mean, I said it a couple of days ago. I think Drew needs to take a significant amount of time off, you know, and then come back.
Which is what the rumor is, because he's going to go do the Highlander thing.
Good. Go Highland, brother, as it's worth doing. And besides, Jacob is the one that they're pushing. Drew just had a world title reign, to be fair. Even though it ended rather unceremoniously, It's not like Drew wasn't taken care of somewhat. And again, considering what happened with TKO and the main event and all that stuff, I still maintain it's better that he stayed away from all that.
Yeah.
It's better for Drew in the long run he stayed away from all that. So it's in that way, I think that in the long run, this was fine. It could have used some juice. I actually think that this match should have been like in a better spot on the card at a smaller pay-per-view. Because this match could have been really good if they were the only two that were actually getting juice on that night. And then they could.
Yeah.
And it could really feel like an unsanctioned match. It just couldn't do that on match 2 of a 4-hour show that was mostly ads.
Yeah, and another thing, I'm sorry. I can't take two big, angry-looking dudes beating up each other and then they're using Slim Jim logo tables. That takes the seriousness out of the match a lot.
Well, that's a complaint that you have to preach to the choir at this point when it comes to their advertisements.
Yeah, the ads are just insufferable. It really is, though.
If I remember correctly, also the reason why they didn't do blood was that this was on ESPN. So this segment of the show had to be rated PG.
That's fucking dumb. That's stupid.
Well, then don't have an unsanctioned match on a PG show. We're not responsible for any injuries that we can't even do. So now we're into the.
I know. Meanwhile, on Monday Night Football, let's look at this player who tore his goddamn leg 4 times in different camera angles, 360.
Let's replay it for the next 17 minutes as they card him out. But anyway,
here on ESPN, we can't watch anyone bleed, but we can watch a football player collide headfirst with another football player and have a seizure. That's fine.
We could have a shit ton of concussion footage. But speaking of injuries, it's time for the women's tag team titles.
And this is what I skipped. I saw this and I was like, no.
I'll say this. It was fine. It wasn't spectacular. It was fine. Skylar, do you have any thoughts about this match overall?
Fuck Alberto Del Rio.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good summation because Paige is back.
Put him in fucking prison and throw away the goddamn key.
After you're done shooting Michael Cole with an Arab dude's gun, shoot Alberto Del Rio with it next.
Oh, no, he may go before Michael Cole, if I'm being honest with you. Look, Paige is a girl who had a lot of potential when she was in WWE in the early years, and it just never happened because she got fucked up emotionally, mentally, and also all the shit that was going on with, do I even have to say his name? Brad Maddox. Like, God damn it.
Oh, yeah. Right, I actually genuinely forgot about that. Wink.
Yeah, she got all rated R with Xavier Woods.
And that too. I mean, look, the whole thing is that, like, Paige has been through a lot. It's genuinely good to see her. I just hate the fact that this was fucking spoiled 3 days before the event even happened.
Yeah, even though I wasn't going to watch, I would have been like, it would have been cool to, like, skip. Because what I did was I just fast forwarded to the finish. If I didn't know beforehand and all of a sudden Paige is there, I would have been like, whoa, when'd she get here? But no, 3 days before I was like, oh, Paige is signed with WWE. Oh, she's teaming with Brie. That's weird.
Yeah, because Nikki Bella got surgery, which, I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a thing.
No, Joshua, you don't get to talk about this match. You skipped it.
No, about Nikki Bella getting surgery and us not having to watch her wrestle. I'm trying to decide on whether I want to say anything or not, because if I say something, it's not going to be very nice. So I think I'll do what my mommy said, and if you should not say mean things unless you want people to say mean things about you.
Well,
okay. With that in mind, Sean, I have a question for you.
I have an answer, maybe.
On this edition of What the Fuck Are the Women Wearing?
Butterflies. Butterflies.
okay, it's one thing with Alexa Bliss because she was doing a tribute as a Firefly to Bray Wyatt. Like, that's fine. That was emotional. That was cool. What the fuck, Charlotte?
Charlotte Butterflare.
God damn it, that butterfly wings was so big. Like, how much did that thing weigh? How did she carry it? God damn it.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss came out with the little moth outfit in honor of Bray Wyatt, and Charlotte is like, my butterfly has a bigger dick than your butterfly. she did. Then
I get it, Charlotte. You have to outdo everybody, but my goodness, the seamstresses were getting extra overtime on this fucking main event.
And you know what's sad is that right after that came out Lyra Valkyria, and I know she's not doing the bird thing anymore, but people still like going, "Ka!" at her entrance, and I still do it at her entrance, and it cracks me up. And I was like, if only B. Brian Blair could be here, because then we would be learning about the butterflies, the birds, and the bees here tonight on this women's tag match. And at least that has some appeal. Then comes Nia and Lash Legend, and Nia Jax has lost some weight. I must admit. Or the cameras are doing her a hell of a service, because she looked better tonight than I thought she has lately.
Hold on. Sean, are you saying she lost some weight or she took a shit?
I meant she lost some weight. How did you get that from what I said? Did I make that sound like she was?
Because that's the only way that Nia Jax is going to lose weight.
Okay. Did I make it sound like I meant defecation? I'm confused. But well, this match was not ass. Let's move into that. Well, and then Nikki Bella.
I defecated during this match.
Yes, it's well.
I'm sure you did.
This show.
Okay. To be serious and bring it back to like actual critiques, I thought the women here were fine. I didn't love the match because, you know, how can you love a fatal 4-way tag team women's match? But all the ladies here, and even Nia Jax, did okay.
It was fine. It was fine. And the story of this match was Paige's hot tag. You know, that none of the rest of it really mattered, and none of the women in the rest of it really mattered, because this match was really all about Paige, which was fine. There was a double powerbomb from Lash to Alexa Bliss and Lyra from a Tower of Doom spot. That was alright. Paige got the tag. There was a double super kick. That was kind of rough. From Charlotte and Paige, because Charlotte barely connected or didn't connect. I don't know why, but they seemed desperate to return us to the 2010s of women's wrestling. And that was the time that I cared the least about the women in wrestling. But, again, good for Paige. Even though Nikki was kind of a heel and used her crutch on a babyface Charlotte, but Rampage wins it anyway. It was fine. And then they got Pyro, which I thought was unnecessary. And that's it.
I mean, here's the thing, though, is that, like, yes, this isn't the best situation, but I'd rather Paige come back and get the moment than the Bellas winning the tag team championships, because that's just awful. I mean, the second Nikki Bella is healthy, you know she's going to turn on Paige and take her half of the belt.
Which means we have to watch Nikki Bella and Paige again.
My thing is, Nikki getting injured only prolongs the inevitable of let's put the tag team title on the Bellas.
Yeah.
Because of all the things we need to prolong, it's that thank you, Nikki's ankle for getting injured. I would rather just take the Band-Aid off and get it over with, but no. And that's a future pay-per-view match that I'm going to have to skip.
Yeah, it's just regrettable. It's regrettable we're in this position with women's wrestling in general, but I don't know why they want to bring literally all of the ladies who I was happy not seeing again back. And that's just, again, maybe it'll mean that Paige actually, I don't know how long Paige is going to have. That's another question. How long is this run going to last from her? Can it last a long time?
Who knows? The one thing I will say is that, like, I know, Sean, you're saying, like, the 2010s women's, but, like, the early 2010s women's, I agree, are bad. But the later 2010s women was arguably its best era of women's wrestling, quote unquote.
Well, and at that point, there really wasn't. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen here because it's a different format of the kind of wrestling that we get as opposed to what it was in the early 2010s, which means maybe it will be better, you know, and we'll get to AJ Lee in just a second on that basis. But it's just interesting to me where the direction that Triple H has decided to take this women's division. And he must be feeling that the superstars that he has been building in his women's NXT have not been cutting it. If he's bringing back all of these previous stars in order to fill in a roster that is so thick and yet oh so thin. Paper thin.
Well, the other thing, too, also, is that it's to try and re-energize the group of wrestling fans that watch wrestling from that era and have fond memories of that era. And Paige is one of those faces from that era. Like, the way to think about WrestleMania is that not everything's going to appeal to you, but something should.
But
and
does
it's trying to hit that wide range of fans.
Well, and they had an interesting way of doing that in the next matchup. As we welcome JoshAgeddon back to the stand, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty of skipping the previous match. And I'll do it again. I'll fucking do it again.
Oh, God.
Well,
so I'm back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. What did I miss?
Nothing of consequence.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
Let's move on to Becky and AJ for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. What did you think of this match, JoshAgeddon?
Well, we go from nothing important of consequence to, oh, hey, look, more nothing important of consequence. For the nothing of important consequence championship, this was fine. Honestly, this kind of felt like the show overall for night one. This was fine. I thought this was better than their Elimination Chamber match because I felt that their Elimination Chamber match was kind of sloppy. There was like a good 15, 20 seconds where it felt like they were kind of on different pages, even though she was in the previous match. But other than that, I thought that this one was solid, and I'm glad that it was shorter than their chamber match because I don't think AJ Lee is going to flourish in longer matches. This was relatively short, simple, sweet, and to the point, although I do have one critique of this match other than my hatred of there being women's secondary title. We didn't need... All right, 2 times on this show, we've had, I'm a professional wrestler, and there's a referee that I don't like. And why every single time I'm in a match on a pay-per-view, that referee that I don't like is refereeing my match? It's almost like The Office has it out for me. We did that with Drew and Danny. Danny, I'm a part of whatever angle we're doing. And we're doing it now, again, in this match with Becky and Jessica Carr.
Well...
Once again, Triple H, you and your repetitive booking showing its ugly face once again.
In this situation...
Okay, Joshua, to defend this one for a second, though, this has been building for months. Like,
this is the
Drew and Danny Angles, like, that one's been going for a while, but to be honest, everybody could feud with Danny Angles if they wanted to, because it always seems like he's involved in the worst stuff. But, like, Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch have been going at it, and it's been notable for the last couple of matches that they've had. So then, at least...
Then don't do the Drew Danny Angles one because no one cares about that. People kind of care a little bit. I was a little invested in the Becky Jessica Carr thing. Why are we doing 2 of the same storyline?
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I just find it repetitive.
But I do think I kind of agree with Skylar because the difference is what they're doing with Drew and Danny is not leading to a match between Drew and Danny Angles. What they're doing with Becky and Jessica Carr, this is almost guaranteed gonna be the SummerSlam match. They have been building this up for a hot minute. So it's different in the way that they're trying to push one versus another because I think Becky's been trying to push, and especially in the way that Wade sold it too. They're like, this is hands down like rather than a conspiracy against The Office, this is like a conspiracy of this one specific referee has it out to get me. But I'm not saying that you're wrong in that they're the same basic principle. But I think there's a difference in the way, and I'm also agreeing with you that the presentation is not that different. But I feel like there is two different outcomes at play here.
I will say, I am now perversely wanting a Drew McIntyre versus Danny Angle's match.
That'd be fun, but it'd be sad.
It would be hysterical.
Well, here's the thing. If you want that match, you could book in WWE 2K20 whatever.
I'm not buying the new.
No
it's
thanks.
just the previous game with different bells and whistles.
No
I'm
thanks. I'm fine. I enjoy the one game that I play.
But can we bring it back to the entrances of these women? Like, I know, Joshua, you just basically spoiled the entire plot of the match, but can we bring it back to the entrances? Because we got some things to talk about.
Yes, please do, Skylar. This is your bit.
All right, so on this edition of What the Fuck is Becky Lynch Wearing? I guess she just skinned Sullivan from Monsters, Inc. and wore his coat.
Very good. Very good.
Did she shave Clifford the Big Red Dog and decided to turn his fur blue?
Oh, dear.
She picked the best carpet she could and decided to wear it for a match. Which, speaking of, do the drapes match? That's the real question.
I was more distracted. I didn't even notice her outfit. I was too distracted by them accidentally exposing the band that was there because the dude was not prepared to start singing and the song started and his voice was already going and he was nowhere near the mic. So he was like, oh shit. And also, Becky's god-awful theme song live is not any better than her god-awful theme song when it's not live.
And the fans still hate it.
So bad.
The fans hate it.
It's so bad.
And this made me laugh because I said Becky's band looks like they go to bars and ask for samples but never buy full pints. You know, they're that group that like always is trying to get free stuff from the bars, going like, we'll play a song or two, bro. And they are like, you will never see them actually pay for any of their drinks. The funniest thing was I didn't think Becky looked that bad, save for her punching herself and staring that dude in the face. But then I would have taken Becky Lynch punching herself and punching Mike Wazowski in fucking at a train, getting her getting hit by a train like Mickey James.
Yeah, like Mickey James.
See these kids.
Did you happen to see a dead Mickey James on the track there, Skylar?
Yeah.
And have you seen James Storm running away?
Did see?
No, Mickey James was not on the track.
I would prefer to see Becky Lynch pull a Mickey James angle.
I want Becky Lynch to get hit by a train, maybe. I don't know.
Then to see these kids skipping with AJ Lee.
I hated AJ Lee's entrance. Why is AJ Lee determined to be the most cringe human being on the planet?
It was
because she is the model for all 6-year-old girls that are the same size as her.
And because Bianca Belair is pregnant. And so they needed somebody to do a spot with
Sean,
kids.
That's a spoiler alert.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
AJ Lee's new gimmick is I'm going to make everyone that's watching this just cringe and just like, why? Like,
Joshua, you're just a jaded millennial. This was cute. Okay,
I'm a late Zoomer, you sick fuck. You watch your mouth.
It was fine. It was fine. I just
except for the one girl that got scared and ran back to the gorilla because she didn't want to go out.
Yeah, I'm with her. Get out. Get out with all the. Don't get any on her.
She heard that scream and she didn't want to get hit by it.
Yeah, that girl was smart. That girl was the smartest one of the bunch. But in any case, no, I didn't really care. Yay, children. But it's a AJ Lee, the perpetual 14-year-old girl. There was a nice fall-away slam to the barricade.
That was solid. Like that actually looked like it hurt.
Becky Lynch and Carr still is being set up. And I think my issue with this was that this felt like this was just setting something else up. You know, it almost felt like AJ Lee was relatively the afterthought in this match. Which, I'm not saying she should or shouldn't be, but it just... I don't know. AJ did a sliced bread that was kind of good. There was a Black Widow swing counter into the turnbuckle that looked pretty good. Stop me anytime. Becky was trash-talking Jessica Carr as she pushes back and gets in Becky's face. There's a manhandle slam by AJ. There's a blood.
Didn't look very good.
That was pretty bad.
I will say the manhandle slam did not look great, but AJ Lee hooked the shit out of her leg on that cover. She looked like she was trying to pin this woman for dear life. Like, I've never seen a move executed so terribly, but a pinfall attempt executed so well.
Yeah.
Then you clearly have not seen a Jay Leno.
Yeah, that's true. Jay Leno has the best cover of all time. That's the truth. That is the absolute truth. But in any case, then there's the Black Widow counter into the exposed steel. They push Carr in front of AJ. Then AJ into the exposed turnbuckle when Carr wasn't able to see it. And Becky gets a manhandle slam and wins. It was a Becky match.
Hold on. How did she get the advantage?
I said she pushed Carr in front of AJ to set that up.
Well, no, not just push, but like the exposed turnbuckle that she was playing with earlier was exposed, and she pushed AJ's head into it while using Jessica Carr's battering ram.
That's what I said.
She allegedly pushed AJ face first into it, but not really. And then when they were showing the replays, they were like, yeah, we should probably show this from a different angle than the one we showed live. Good job, Lee Fitting.
Yeah.
Your own finish.
Look,
I personally would have rammed AJ's head into it shoot for real, but that's just me.
Well, that's just because you hate anything with a vagina at this point.
You're not wrong.
Well,
except your mom. Your mom is a very nice woman.
She makes very spicy greens for some reason.
Well, it was a Becky match. It was a fine match. It moves Becky versus Jessica Carr along, but this was a B-show match. This was a Raw match.
Yeah.
This match could have been an email, and that's, it's just what it is.
Bad. It wasn't offensive.
Bad.
Honestly, I thought it was what I expected it would be.
Yeah, it was.
But Josh, again, consider this. Like, this was the Intercontinental Championship, and you said it was a meaningless title match. But at least it got to WrestleMania. Where's the U.S. Championship for the women?
Where it belongs.
Dead and buried. Yeah. Well.
Like, at least they're trying with the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Like, the women's one, U.S., like, that's dead.
Why? This, when they first were like, yeah, we're going to do women's secondary titles, I was like, why? And for the U.S. one, they're still asking, why are we doing this again? Now they're stuck. Now they can't get rid of it because everyone on social media would be like, "You're sexist. Why do you hate women so much, Triple H?" Because now they're just stuck in a corner that they should not have put themselves in the first place. But good job, WWE.
Yeah, it's true, and it's kind of a sad state of affairs to tell you the truth. But
now, I would grow some balls and get rid of them anyway, and not really give a shit what anyone on the internet said about it. But that's just me. I'd also get rid of the tag team titles too. Sorry, Paige.
Yeah, well,
wait, on the men's or the women's?
Yes.
It's yeah, well, which ones of the men's? There's so many of them. As well, in any case, let's move on to some quality wrestling here.
It's easily the best thing on night one by far.
It's Gunther
arguably
versus
the weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was Gunther versus Seth Rollins. It was a good match, a very good match. And Skylar, I believe it is your bit once again.
On this edition of What the Fuck is Seth Rollins Wearing?
I love that Michael Cole said it's like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Michael.
You fucking bitch. 2K modded voice.
The Weedy Shire must live on.
I've never even watched Game of Thrones, and even I know there's no the. And also I know that looks nothing like anything that's ever been on Game of Thrones.
Having said that, Seth Rollins looked really cool with the smoke and the eyes that were, with a contact lens. Like, that was a really cool effect, even though he looked like a vampire from Being Human, the TV show. But one question: why all the holes? Why do you have to look like a piece of Swiss cheese?
Because so he could look like he just got out of like the smoke factory.
Well,
like he was stealing the Street Profits gimmick because he wanted the smoke. You see,
I have
yeah, but here's the thing: is that if I want a smoking piece of black cheese, like first, I think that's pretty bad. Like I'm pretty sure I'm going to die from that. And secondly, I go to Europe for it.
Well,
he looked like he just finished hotboxing himself.
Well, here's what I will say.
Was that when his eyes were black? Wait, Sean, hold on. Can you confirm if you hotbox hard enough, your eyes turn black, not red?
It wasn't context. He was just fully dilated.
I will not confirm such things. I will say no such things.
What type of shit do you have to smoke in order to make your eyes black? I just want to know.
I don't know.
Seth looked like that because he just walked out of the Colonial Dungeon.
But consult your local doctor.
That is a nightmare blunt rotation of the colonist Sean McCarty and Seth Rollins and Abizzle. Like, damn.
Well, I have some jokes.
If you got Seth Rollins in the Colonial Dungeon to interview him over weed, my goodness, my man, you better put that on a fucking podcast for free.
I get the feeling that I would not be able to actually do that, though. I don't think he's that type. To be honest with you, but in any case, here's what I said about Seth Rollins' outfit, because I actually had some bits myself. That jacket is a waste of grommets. There are flags everywhere that are now starving because of that jacket. If Thousand Eyes Restrict were a wrestler, it was Seth Rollins on this day. That's for all you Yu-Gi-Oh nerds out there.
Wow.
Yes, Seth Rollins, the Jared Leto of professional wrestling.
Okay, no. You take that shit back right now.
Why?
You're not wrong.
I'm accurate.
I don't want Seth Rollins to put a damaged tattoo on his forehead. Like, God damn it.
Well, he doesn't have to. But as
the professional Jared Leto liker of the group, I can confirm.
Okay, I feel validated. Well. And that's it. I'd call it steampunk, but punk is on Sunday night. And then when all of that steam went on, I said, Seth, your check engine light has been on for the past 6 months. Your engine bay is smoking. This is a man who is consistent.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, is that like Seth Rollins is Mexican, so he's just gonna keep losing it no matter what.
Well,
like. It's like black people and the check engine light. No, not check engine light. The fire extinguisher replacing the batteries.
Well, he's gonna have to get that looked at because he was smoking all the way to the ring, and I was worried. You know, and here I was thinking JoshAgeddon had car problems, but in any case, but
Seth Rollins
did look like he just stepped out of Joshua's last car ride.
But I will say though, in a little fun insider feeling, or at least a note here. When I worked the opera for the Pirates of Penzance this back October, we used fog machines in order to like get the whole idea that we're like arg on the 7 Seas, speaking of pirates. And when we did that, the fog machines smelled like waffles. So I bet you that Seth Rollins smelled like waffles.
Or pancakes from the New Day? He was with the New Day making pancakes before the show.
Oh, there you go. Then he must smell like waffles. They loaded him up. We got the 4th hot start out of 4 matches without a collar and elbow tie-up to be seen or heard. Or smelled.
This was the best hot start.
Yes.
I will say Gunther and Seth, they were acting like, and their brawl that they had a couple Monday Night Raws ago, they were going at each other like they legitimately wanted to kill each other.
This was more intense than Drew and Jacob.
It was.
By several football fields, yes.
Yeah. As I'm just happy that Gunther survived the buckle bomb. Yeah. Because that scares me every time Seth does it.
That he so badly did not want to take.
And I so badly did not want to see him give.
He also so badly did not want to take the pedigree either time.
Yeah, I think
Like, yeah, I'll turn sideways and land on my arm, kind of.
Yeah. Well, the path to the pedigree and the stomp was great, though. As the crowd was super into this. We got, I mean, I was not really putting down a whole ton of notes because I was just enjoying it. And most of the time, when my notes are minimal, it's because I'm enjoying it, not because I'm disinterested. It's because I'm actually invested in it somewhat. There was a suplex Falcon Arrow with that was countered, or at least then it was, countered then into a Seth sleeper into Gunther, which was cool. Go on, you were about to say something, Josh, again?
In my opinion, the best thing in this whole match that made me pop. Okay, there's this thing that Dragon Lee, like, stay with me. There's this thing that Dragon Lee likes to do where someone will throw a clothesline and he'll try to flip over into his big power bomb. Sometimes it's like not all the synapses are firing correctly and he kind of janks it up a little bit. Gunther threw a clothesline at Seth. And Seth did the Dragon Lee float over the clothesline deal. It was so perfect looking. Like, I have never seen someone do that flawlessly. It was gorgeous. Seth does not get enough credit for how damn good he is.
No, I mean, we've said it a number of times on this program. I mean, Seth has won a Wrestler of the Year Grapply before for how great he really is on a pretty consistent basis. It's difficult right now because I don't know what else there is for Seth to do. You know, I would say he should go to SmackDown, but SmackDown is the fucking drizzling shits right now. Yeah. So it's hard to want somebody that good to be on a show that bad. But
that's the thing, is that Seth Rollins has hit the point in his career where he's a made man.
True.
So all he's really here to do is just get other people over, and that's partially what we're doing here. And also, if we're talking about the other man for a second, Jesus Christ, Gunther is perfect in every single way because of one thing. He actually feels like a professional wrestler from the olden days translated to the modern time. Like, he's so amazing at everything he does. Like, again, Sean, Joshua, we have spoken about our love for him, but every chop he did this night hurts and looks like it hurts. And I don't feel that from most moves, but god damn it.
Gunther is so spectacular at everything he does.
Yeah, he is.
Except taking the pedigree.
Look, it's okay. It's okay. He didn't want to get buried by Triple H.
No, he didn't want to land directly on his big Austrian nose.
Well, and that's fair. Although I will say, the triple tope is like my least favorite Sethism.
I know. When he was doing it, I was like, and this is the part of the match that Sean's not going to like. That's going to be a note right there.
I don't even mind the suplex roll through into the Falcon Arrow, because they vary that up on occasion. And cleverly so, actually. I think that they've done a lot of very interesting spots. I don't even mind that one, but the three topes, it's just not necessary. One is fine. You're just standing there. And then he pushes him a little and he just stands there. And then you run back and he waits for you to dive in again. It's dumb. It's my least favorite Sethism.
I don't mind it, but I will say the third time he tried it and Gunther was like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. I'm just going to power bomb Seth into everything at ringside. He gave him an apron bomb, then he gave him a power bomb onto the table, which did not break, so I bet that sucked.
I bet it did.
And then he tries to do the power bomb on top of the table, and I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna like sit out power bomb Seth through the announce table? But Seth is like, hey Joshua, did you like that cool flip that I did earlier out of a clothesline? Here's another really cool flip out of a power bomb into a pedigree that once again Gunther lands on his side. I'm not gonna stop mentioning because it makes me laugh every time. And then he stomps him into the table. And then, in theory, I was like, okay, he did a big move on the table, and the referee's outside the ring, distracted, tending to Gunther. Where's Braun? I know he's coming. Where's Braun?
He was coming.
Lee Fitting was like, hey, if it wasn't obvious enough, I'm going to put the camera directly on the entrance ramp where no one is and telegraph way more than necessary. Oh, yeah, someone's running in, by the way.
Nuts.
And then he got a bad angle of Braun spearing him into the barricade. Like, this whole thing, I think, was done well by the performers involved, but man, Lee Fitting was doing his best to make it, to take a little bit of the air out of the balloon.
Yeah, you can't deny that. And honestly, it wasn't the best spear that I've ever seen out of Braun Breaker. It was nice to see him back.
Yeah, and then he was out of frame, and I was like, and he does a nip up almost off screen, but the way that Lee Fitting was, fumbling with the camera, I thought that Braun Breaker did a 2K glitch where he was just flopping around. I thought he did a front flip or some shit, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get replays. I need to know if Braun just did a front flip or something and landed on his feet. No, he just did a normal nip up. It's just, I don't know what Lee Fitting was. Maybe Lee Fitting was so happy that Braun was back, he was handling the camera with one hand. I don't know. That's what it felt like.
Okay, well, here's the question. What's he doing with the other hand?
He was fitting his Lee. So then,
damn it. Okay, you know what? I should have expected that joke.
Yeah, you kind of went right into that one. Then Gunther is like, oh, look, I distracted Seth. I'm going to choke him out real quick. And I like that that it's the finish whenever Gunther has the sleeper in and he uses one of his legs to hook the arm to just make sure they can't get out of it.
Well,
and then after the fact, Gunther wins, and then Braun was like, hey, that spear that I gave Seth that didn't look very good, that spear, that I have a notification for you guys. That spear that I did that didn't look very good, that spear is going to look amazing compared to the spear that I'm about to give Seth. Because Seth is trying to get up, and Braun is sprinting down the ramp. And Braun Breaker, we need to apologize to Jey Uso. I don't know if they just mistimed it, but Braun Breaker gives Seth the worst spear I've ever seen.
This was rough.
This looked awful.
And it was. In every way you could possibly ask for.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he went for a chop block than a spear, but he went forward instead of backwards.
And
something.
Seth did a ballerina twist away from it. He's like, yeah, I don't mind taking your spear in the ring. I'm not taking your spear on the ramp, dude.
Well, and the thing is that this was mostly good. I was just like, I don't know, to me, because I knew that there was so much table shit all night, that I was like, I really wish that we didn't do more table spots in the middle of this match. That was the only thing that I really had to complain about. The match itself was very good. Mm-hmm. And, of course it was, because it's fucking Gunther and Seth Rollins. If there's any two people I expect are going to tear the house down, they could have done 2 minutes, and it would have been the best 2-minute match you've ever seen in your life. It's
No. That 2-minute match was Darby Allin versus MJF. How dare you?
Oh, yeah, I already talked about that. I'm not giving that any more credence than has already been Clearwaterly revived. But in any case,
I'm going to make a short about it and send it to my friends.
But this was clearly the match of the night. I mean, this was great, and I enjoyed this very much. And considering that my time in viewing this show was coming to a rapid conclusion, this was my favorite thing to watch.
Yeah.
At least night one.
In night one, yes. And so then we move on to the women's world title. Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Becker. And, well.
Okay, I have 2 things to say right off rip.
Go, please rip.
Liv Morgan's song is god-awful. And her entrance was the sluttiest entrance I've ever seen.
And this is a man who actually got sent nudes for real.
Yeah, this song is big time bad. And apparently, Liv Morgan is a snow bunny. Because that's the only thing I could figure out from the spade that she had on her ankle. And whatever this entrance was. And this...
I will say, I'll give her credit. I mean, I've been saying this for years on this podcast. Liv Morgan is an e-thought that thought wrestling was a good career choice. At least she's delving into that, and it's working.
And
for
it's
her.
working. It is working. You know, to be fair, but this song just sounded like 2026 Britney Spears wrote it.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It is generic auto-tune pop garbage.
And we once again
theme of SmackDown.
And we once again did not get.
And the worst part is that they played this song on the post show, and Liv Morgan did her dance with Corey Graves.
Oh, God damn! I'm glad Carmella wasn't there to see that. But yeah, in any case,
I wouldn't have divorced him for dancing with another woman. I would have divorced him for dancing to that song.
Yeah.
Well, okay, dancing is a strong word. Let me say humping the mat like the Demon did.
Yeah, but Finn Balor was.
Came out.
Oh, God.
Oh, speaking of demons.
Yeah. Stephanie's older music was better, but this music is fine. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was kind of hoping they would, like, you know, do us a solid and have her come out to that Megadeth song that she likes. But, you know, she looked great. And then we had this match, and 7 minutes later it was over. And
this is one of those things where I wonder how much, like, this match was affected by injuries because Liv Morgan had a big bump on her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine for what I saw of it, but then I got about
like here's the thing though, is that like WWE's main of WrestleMania was screwed by two things: one, TKO interference, and two, injuries.
Yeah.
There were so many plans that they probably had that they couldn't do because people kept getting hurt in really stupid ways too. Like, you can't even blame some of this shit, like Nikki Bella breaking her ankle off of a wrestling move, Braun Breaker getting a hernia from a table spot, Liv Morgan getting a head bonk because Stephanie McClure pushed her too hard in the Raquel Rodriguez.
Well, that was not even Stephanie's fault. It was the fault of whoever set that up. Like, hey, you two stand super close to each other, and we're going to have someone else hit you from behind. How did you not see that coming? Person who set up that spot. Like, whoever set that up is an idiot.
Well, who knows? It could, given the way that the WWE road agents are, you know how they are.
But yeah, this match was a lot of people were pissed that it only went 7 minutes. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If it went 6 minutes, my overall grade for the show would probably be higher. But yeah, this was fine. I think it's more that while Liv has improved, he's still not great, and Stephanie can only do so much with someone that is of Liv Morgan's quality.
And it's the Judgment Day, so, you know, the Judgment Day do what Judgment Day does and have so much Judgment Day interference. It's so much Judgment Day.
Sean,
all day, every day.
I think you losing your ability to see the rest of this match was better than seeing the actual finish, because it was literally just Judgment Day interferes and Liv Morgan takes advantage of a distraction and wins.
Yeah, I got to about the point where Stephanie McClure did an Oblivion on the Liv, and then I got 12 unskippable ads from my choppy, my boat capsized that I was pirating on, and I finally said, fuck it. And because I wasn't going to watch the main event anyway, I said, you know what? Liv and Stephanie does not mean enough to me to care. So,
yeah. Good
for Liv. I really don't.
Does not mean enough for him to back hair.
Yes.
Having said that, Stephanie's Oblivion was better than Liv Morgan's Oblivion.
True, that I believe. That I believe. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of useless for the rest of this this show's review. So I'm going to leave it to you two gentlemen, and I will interject as necessary.
Literally everything Stephanie did was way better than literally everything Liv Morgan did, because Liv Morgan's still not very good at wrestling. And then we got the Judgment Day happened. The finish, the movie, the video game that we've seen a million times on every episode of Raw. This felt like a Raw match, and everyone on the internet complaining, why didn't you give them longer? If they gave them longer, my show grade would have decreased, so I don't care.
Yeah, Liv Morgan is here to cut promos. She's not here to wrestle long matches. People want work rate from WWE workers, but they don't they forget which workers can do work rate matches.
Liv Morgan is good at that very annoying and that's about it.
Yeah.
This was fine. She's women's world champion again, and I don't really care.
Nor do I.
So, Sean, did you see the Hall of Fame? Where they brought out people and were like, all right, these are the inductions for the Hall of Fame.
I did not know. I was done with the show. I did not watch anything else going forward.
They had the Hall of Fame people come out, and it was nice. It was good to see AJ Styles. It was good to see the family of, like, Psycho Sid and whatnot. Then Stephanie McMahon came out, and I noticed two things. Those are the biggest titties I've ever seen on a woman her age.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, yeah. I thought I was watching a 3D movie with 3D glasses on. I had to duck when she came out. Like, I'm surprised I wasn't blasted through a wall. Like, oh my God. Like, Chris Jericho was somewhere talking about flotation devices.
God damn it, Joshua.
So, those were the two things I noticed about Stephanie. And then we had our main event. After I got out of a cold shower.
Wait, hold on. What about Bianca being pregnant?
Montez Ford also probably should have had a cold shower. Okay, so when John Cena came out, I was like, oh, it's been a great show so far, yada, yada, yada. And then Bianca Belair came out. When she came out, she was kind of hiding one of her hands. I was terrified that her announcement was, look at this. And all of a sudden, one of her hands only has 4 fingers. And then she would say something like, hey, John Cena, you're not the only one that has to retire. I was fully expecting 9-fingered Bianca, who has to retire now. But she swerved me in the best way possible. She's pregnant. And congratulations to Montez, who also looks pregnant, and Bianca.
You know, that's the sad thing is that Montez Ford did get a dad bod, and now we know why. Because he's going to be a daddy again.
He busted too hard, and it ruined his physique.
We're all better off, I'd say.
She really did want the EST from him, am I right?
Yes. He nutted from the heavens. Anyway.
I mean, the thing though is that, like, her finger is still wrapped up. Who knows if she's ever going to wrestle again? Who knows if we're ever going to see Bianca Belair in the ring anymore? Like, that, it may just be not the thing. But it's good to see her. Yes, the pregnancy thing, I groaned a little bit, but then I'm like, you know what? This may be one of the last moments we ever see her acknowledged in a WWE ring. Like, let her have her moments.
Yeah.
Or she'll recover, and Montez Ford will just be a stay-at-home dad, and we won't have to see the Street Profits again, and we'll get Bianca back.
Could you imagine Angelo Dawkins as the drunk uncle with the Pizza Hut boxes?
Now that like gimmick works.
He comes over to Ford and Bianca with baby shower, and he just covered in pizza boxes. He's like, I got your gift right here. He pulls out
a bunch of fake plastic pieces of pizza and just throws them at the baby.
Yo, Bianca, where the baby at? Instead of where the party funny. At, remember that was their thing when they first started? I'll be over here. I'll be over here if you need me.
The pose as Solo cups will fall from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's right.
Baby cups will fall from the ceiling
as they throw pizza into the audience.
Yes.
No. But it'll be a gender reveal party. The cups are either going to be blue or pink.
Honestly, that is a brilliant idea. That would be a great way to reveal.
Yeah, you know what? Let them do it. Let them do it as an angle.
I would be down for that.
Can Gene Snitsky be in the audience just for fun? Who
was responsible for having to clean up that entrance of the two of them and Solo cups falling from the ceiling? Like, it's not like the Pope De Niro or JBL and money falling down and you could pick up a JBL dollar. It's fucking Solo cups.
And then what they should do is have Bianca come out with a baby and then have Snitsky interrupt and punt the baby into the audience.
No, I was just about to say, no, you have Gene Snitsky as the janitor cleaning up the gender reveal cups. And he's clean. He doesn't say a word. He just like, and then, maybe one of them falls off the stage. He's just like, that wasn't my fault. And he just keeps collecting them and just real subtle.
And then as he's finishing up the cups, a baby falls from the ceiling.
Because he
And he's
punched
like, I didn't do it.
Oh. God.
No. Even better than the babies. It should be one of the AJ Lee girls.
Oh, God.
The one that ran away, have her run into Snitsky and he punched her back on stage. No, you will skip.
Amazing.
Speaking of things that went off the rails quickly, this main event.
All right, yeah. Take it away, boys, because I skipped this, and I do not regret it, although I do know what happened. I did see the finish, and I do know what happened in the afters.
Skylar, I'm going to let you go first. What did you think of this main event on night one?
Okay, so Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship was trying to do two things. One, it was Triple H using Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton to say, fuck you, the TKO, in the most literal sense possible. And then secondly, it was to try and begin the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton story as it was intended to. Here's the problem, Joshua. I have to apologize to X-Pac. It's now Cody Rhodes' heat.
Explain.
Okay, so Randy Orton does his entrance of 6 fucking minutes.
Not
but
surprising.
He was cheered like a god, despite the fact that he's supposed to be the villain in this story. Pat McAfee gets boos, but honestly, the boos are not really like that intense. They're whatever. Joey Roll got a pop, whatever. Cody Rhodes' entrance was him on all of his costumes and all the stuff and all the gear he's had over the years. And when he comes out, he is almost rained with boos. But it's not the kind of boos where like the people hate him. It's the boos where the people hate what's being booked around him and his character. Like, again, this is more than just X-Pac heat. This is just, we hate what you are. It's almost like the AEW when he was at the end of his run there. And those boos.
It's the crowd. It's the idea of we hate top baby faces infecting more people. Although
no, Joshua. What it is that they're tired of this version of Cody Rhodes. They don't hate the person. At least I don't think they do. It's more so they hate the way that the character has been booked, and they hate how he's been pushed. Yes, part of it is that he's been pushed to insufferability because he wins a lot, and he probably shouldn't be winning a lot, but, he is. It is what it is. But it's also the fact that he is a white meat, boring guy who they just don't like. And look at this. It's Randy fucking Orton. Who's going to boo Randy Orton at this point?
I will say when they were showing the different versions of Cody Rhodes, the crowd did pop when it showed Stardust. I thought that was funny.
Those notifications have been the IWC furiously texting that, yes, they do indeed hate Cody Rhodes with everything they have, and there they are again. See this?
No, you're not even saying, yes, we do hate Cody Rhodes.
They're getting more frequent.
What they are saying is
they're raging. We've woken up the IWC. Everybody, no! Everybody take cover.
Pat McAfee, he's going to yell at you. What a bit.
Oh my God.
Never has a show been enhanced by car sounds.
Oh my God. Wow.
Between the train and my car reminding me of text messages. God damn it.
Oh man.
Next, make sure to bring your cat for the next Royal Rumble.
She's not here right now.
But she'll be right back after these messages. Go ahead.
The messages.
Speaking of JoshAgeddon, you will have the next couple minutes to rant as I go grab my dinner. Be right back.
All right. Well, firstly, one thing that my favorite part of this whole thing didn't even really have to do with the match. It was the video package. And I didn't know they were going to do this. I was not aware of this. because if I was, I wouldn't have been able to shut up about it. During the video package that they were playing, all of a sudden the words "Woe and Pain" by Black Veil Brides, album releases May 8th, appeared on the screen. I marked out like crazy.
Yeah, that's one of your faves, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my second favorite band. Although, honestly, him is making a desperate play for my heart right now. But anyway. So I didn't know that you could... how do I phrase this? Like I've seen them, like, use, like, actual, like, music and, like, band music, like, rock music for music videos and, like, hype packages and whatnot. I didn't know that they could do that from a song that hasn't been released yet. Like, I didn't know that that was a thing you could do.
Well, they probably got... Black Veil Brides probably paid WWE a good chunk of money to have them use it as their video package.
And then I looked on, like, Facebook and X, and all over my timeline was Black Veil Brides and Andy Biersack, the lead singer of Black Veil Brides, saying, "Yeah, we did it. We let WWE use one of our songs for WrestleMania. Hope you guys enjoy." And I was like, why am I just now finding out about this? It was a nice surprise. It was honestly the best part of the match.
It seems like they kept it a pretty decent secret for for a surprising change of pace.
Yeah, and honestly, what have I been saying for a long time? Rock or metal fits wrestling like a glove.
And there
I'm
it
just
is.
saying, there it is. But
My dinner isn't ready yet. I gotta wait another 5 minutes. God damn it.
I was bloviating about how much I love Black Veil Brides.
Of course you are.
But I didn't know that they were like, you could like legally play a song that hasn't been released yet. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. And the fact that they kept one of my favorite bands of all time kind of as a secret for, like, by the way, this
was their attempt to say, please, Josh, again, watch our show.
If you really want to impress me, do another Marilyn Manson song. Then we're talking.
Okay. So hold on. Did you talk about the beginning of this match and what the angle was?
Well, I want to talk about, like, my overall thing on the match first. This match was odd. This match was just strange. I didn't hate it. The first, like, 10 minutes, like, when the bell rang, were very boring because they had Randy Orton selling a back injury and fighting through it like he was the babyface for some reason, and it was just weird. But after, like, 10 minutes, it started to pick up, and the longer it went, the better it got. But you have Cody Rhodes being the heel and Randy Orton being the babyface, and it was like they were trying to do what Rock and Hogan did at WrestleMania 18, where they briefly switched roles because of the way the crowd was acting, except it just didn't quite work.
Well, it's also because the crowd, like, didn't go with them. Because
the crowd was kind of not into this whole thing, because the crowd was kind of, like, pissed that TKO inserted Pat McAfee. This whole thing, honestly, was dead on arrival because of what TKO did.
Right, and that's the thing, is that they tried to do the Hogan Rock thing at Mania, but the problem was that the fans didn't want to go with it at all. They just said, fuck this entire thing, we don't care.
What it really made me think of was Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. Not as bad as that, but in the same ballpark. Where Brock...
I was thinking Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at 37, I want to say.
No, their match at 38.
Or 38.
That match was fine. It just ended abruptly because Roman Reigns got hurt. But their 34 match was them beating the piss out of each other and Roman Reigns surviving 800 F5s. And the crowd just dumping on the mat and not being into it. It kind of reminded me of that, although not as bad. But it was off to an interesting start because, like, they do the ring introductions, and Pat McAfee, who they've also been presenting as a heel, steals the microphone from Alicia Taylor, which is a babyface move, in my opinion. So then, before the match starts, he hits Cody with the microphone, and they beat him up a little bit, but then Cody Rhodes fights back. I'll say this about Pat McAfee. He can really take a crossroads. That crossroads that Cody gave Pat McAfee was gorgeous. And then they put him on the table, and then a wild jelly roll appeared and did the worst elbow through a table I've ever seen.
They should have gotten ISHO speed for this spot.
Jelly roll cannot show speed. He just can't.
Well, he's Jelly Roll. His name is Jelly Roll. I don't care how many pounds he's lost. He's still a flabby motherfucker.
He's still a fat slob that doesn't belong on a wrestling show unless he's behind the barricade.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that like this kinda did not help the match because the idea was that if you want to get heat on Randy Orton, you kind of need McAfee to be there, and this was their attempt to try and be like, hey. Your idea TKO was stupid, so we're gonna try and wrestle this match the way we actually wanted to.
What I think went wrong is they were kind of starting to get somewhere because they got a hot start, although there were a lot of those on night one. But as repetitive as it was, they were basically trying to babyface Cody by getting rid of Pat McAfee.
And then it didn't work because the fans still didn't want to boo Randy Orton.
No, it kind of did work. And then the match started, and then they started working a slow pace, and the frenetic, like, chaotic, hot start, they ruined by then restarting and then doing drop downs and shoulder blocks, and, oh, this is just a regular match now.
Well, unfortunately, it's Randy Orton. Wrestling slow is kind of what he does.
Yeah, but for this, it just didn't work. Like, you had a pace. You had the crowd for a second, and then you decided to slow it down, and the crowd was like, well, the match just died. And now Randy Orton's selling a back injury that we forgot, that they just made up on the spot because he had a back injury the last time that Cody and Randy wrestled. And it's just like that was never made part of the story.
Long-term story development, Joshua.
Well, that's selectively remembering something that happened a year ago. That is not long-term storytelling. That is selectively pulling something that existed at one point out of your ass and trying to reinsert.
I'm Dave Meltzer, and I'm smart. You need to learn.
This was just weird.
By the way, I will be right back as I attempt to get dinner number 2. I have to get a lot of cheeseburgers and stuff after all the bullshit with the train and the cars and the bullshit.
But yeah, this whole match was just odd, and I felt bad for both Cody and Randy because they're trying. They're trying. Under different circumstances, this would have been like a clinic. We would have gotten a classic like we got at the end of night 2, but because of circumstance, it was like watching someone trying to do CPR to a dead body and it's just not working. They might twitch a little bit. That's what this match was Cody and Randy trying to administer CPR to a dead body. And it kind of started working when they really started getting into it, especially when Randy got juice and Cody was really starting to lean into like being a little bit more ruthless and nefarious. And then they started exchanging each other's finishers, which added to it. The crowd popped for Randy doing the crossroads and Cody doing a horrible one-armed RKO. The crowd was starting to get into it. And then the referee got bumped because, of course. And then the crowd was kind of like, all right, we're now going to look at the entrance ramp and wait for someone to come down. And then Cody does a low blow, which got a reaction. The crowd so badly wants Cody Rhodes to turn heel. And honestly, I'm at the point where Cody kind of needs to turn heel. Which it felt like they were turning him heel over the course of this match and turning Randy Orton babyface. And then they really started going for it when Pat McAfee came back out and then did a slow count on Randy going for the pin for some reason. And it was also funny because Randy got juice, he gigged, and Cody got busted open hard way. It's kind of funny watching someone purposefully bleed standing next to someone who's bleeding by accident, so that's just funny. But the match started revving up in intensity, and then Pat McAfee's there, and then Cody kicks out of an RKO. So Randy Orton, they kind of do the Elimination Chamber finish where Cody does his finish right into Randy Orton doing his finish 1, 2, 3, except Randy Orton does the RKO on Pat, further turning him even more babyface. And then Cody sneaks up on Randy with the crossroads.
Like a dastardly heel.
Yes, and gets the 1, 2, 3. And honestly, they could have saved this if Cody beat up Randy Orton after the match and if Cody punted Randy and just turned heel. That's what they should have done. Because they were teasing Cody going heel the whole match. But they're pussies. And they reneged on the whole thing at the last second by having Randy Orton suddenly remember he's a heel. He snatches the belt from Cody, whacks him in the head with it, and then punts him accidentally for real.
Yeah, boy, did he.
Yeah, he accidentally busts Cody's orbital socket, and now we're resetting the whole feud, and it's just weird.
And the worst part is that the fans were chanting one more time. One more time.
What confounds me is why did you go through the whole match basically telling the fans Cody's turning heel, Orton's turning babyface, just for the finish to happen and the post-match to be, no, we're just kidding, never mind, Cody's the babyface, Randy Orton's the heel, and now we're just going to start all over again. Why?
Because they still want Cody Rhodes to be a babyface and a good guy.
Then don't spend the entire main event turning him heel just to go, psych! It was like when they killed Chewbacca in Rise of Skywalker just to go, hey, just kidding, never mind, he's actually been alive the whole time. This match was the Rise of Skywalker. It was a mess. It was just weird. And it was a bunch of, we're sorry about Ari Emanuel killing Snoke. Putting Pat McAfee into this for no reason. This really felt like TKO was Disney and Cody and Randy was Star Wars. That's what this felt like. This main event was the Star Wars sequel trilogy, kind of.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me the most about this personally, and a big reason why I didn't watch it, is that they have not been able to figure out who the fuck is the heel and who the fuck is the babyface in this feud. And it doesn't make any sense to do it where both are both. And Randy's getting cheered for punting Cody, and it seems like it's like one of those AEW trope, it's Cody's tired old tropes thing where who the fuck knows who to cheer for in this. And I think that's another part of the problem, is that they've been sending mixed messages for a while, and so with them not doing a turn here, it just feels like a whole wad of nothing. And then trying to dodge TKO's interference.
What kind of infuriated me a little bit, that confused me the most, is it genuinely felt like they were finally going with heel Cody just to go never mind at the very end. Why would you spend a whole match going, yeah, he's heel Cody now? Even low-blowed the guy and cheated to win. Just for you to go never mind in the right before you go off. Why? What is the purpose of that?
Because they're scared. That's all it is.
Because they're pussies.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do it, then don't tease it the whole match.
And boy, did this get the marks upset that Cody walked out of WrestleMania with that belt. He is going to get insane heat. And they're going to have to lean into it at some point. I just don't know why now was not that time.
Yeah.
And but it's going to just get worse. That's the thing. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But let's get to the ratings for night one. Let's start with Skylar as you sort through the food court. Tell us what your ratings are for night one.
I haven't gotten my dinner, and I'm a very sad boy. This show was okay. Despite all the stuff, I did get some enjoyment from it, mostly from talking to you guys and making jokes at the expense of the wrestlers and what they're wearing. It's not bad enough for me to Bret Hart this thing, but I'm not saying that this is a good story either. And given the major things that we have had to concessionalize in order to watch this, it's a 5 out of 10 show. And it's not a compliment.
Josh, again?
I thought it was fine. But, yeah, I thought this show was fine. I loved Seth and Gunther. Everything else was either or fine, or I didn't watch it. I'm going to be a little bit more generous than Skylar. I'm giving night one a 6 out of 10.
Also, did you see the rumor that apparently the tease of this was that they were going to have Aleister Black wrestle Randy Orton?
He was going to kind of pull out the Apex Predator, but Randy wouldn't do it, and then he would do the shock main event punt kick.
Well, I feel like whatever they originally were going to do would have been better and more sensical than TKO going, hey, Pat McAfee, do it.
And now thanks
They're
to
like,
his
we
own
need celebrities involved in the main event.
I almost don't fault them for how badly the main event came off, because a lot of it felt like Cody and Randy and the people that were like making the decisions were like, we don't know what to do. A lot of this felt like them throwing up their hands saying, not just like we've given up or like we don't care. It's like we care, but because of what TKO did, we don't know how to land the ship. So it was a mess.
Yeah. How do I grade night one? Am I going to crinkle it up and open up these crab rangoons and gobble them up at the way that I would on a regular Saturday night watching a WrestleMania? Here's the thing. My rating here is actually going to not be in the middle this time, which is surprising because my frustration was so annoyed with what was going on with the ads and all that stuff. Listen, this show was not that great. It was a one-match show. This was a one-match show. When you get right down to it, it was a one-match show. Not that the six-man tag wasn't fine. Not that AJ and Becky wasn't fine. Not that the women's four-way tag wasn't fine. And considering how confusing that main event was in the terms of what they're trying to do and the fact that Cody should be out for several months, which hopefully means he's relinquishing the belt, or is he just gonna have it until it's convenient for him to defend it and be the exact thing that Roman Reigns he didn't like about Roman Reigns? Anyway, including my frustration in not being able to watch the rest of the show, I gave this a Bret Hart 4 out of 10. This is, I think, the worst rating I've given a Triple H era show yet. And I don't like it. And thankfully, day 2 is going to go a lot better than this. But thank you all for watching this portion of the Court-Martail podcast as the Totally Awesome podcast rolls on. And we quickly reset, reuse, and recycle whatever footage we can reassemble of what we have heard here today on this program. Thank you all for watching episode 199. We'll see you for the landmark 200 right after this.